Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Hunt for Bronze. Today we got a cool episode. 5 years ago, I released a swim baiting for bass in creeks video. I hit them up a lot. I used swim baits a lot back in that period, and then kind of died off. Got hooked on the buzz bait and a heap of other techniques. But last fishing trip I did, you would notice that there's no one currently on the boat with me. It was with Josh in this same area. And he brought back that love of throwing glide baits and swim baits and all that goodness. So we're doing it. That's what we're doing today. We're going to have a swim bait only challenge. I've got a whole heap of lures to tie on and take off and all that. But we're pretty much just only going to throw swim baits. We'll start with the hard ones. We've got a heap of glides. We're going to use those glides, but I've also got some multi-jointed swim baits as well. So we're going to give it all a go. We're going to just try everything. So stay tuned and stick with me, because I think if the bass want to play, we're going to have a fun day on the water. Either way, I'm going to try to put through a few techniques, how I fish them, how I've learnt to fish them. Even though it's been a long time since I have and I'm kind of relearning a heap, we're going to go through that journey together. Okay, I'm going to grab everything I need and we're pretty much going to get fishing. Let's do it. Sweet. So we're going to crack into it. We'll start with the swim bait on the surface. And we're going to kind of go from there. Oh, boil. Yep, there we go. Oh, that's a good fish. That's a really good fish. Oh no, he's just the way he's eating it. Just the way he's eating it. Like, it's not bad. He's not a bad one. Flip or die? Flip or die. That's actually not bad. Not a bad looking fish at all. Oh, I don't actually have the tripod or big camera. I left that in the car. But look at that little stonker. Absolute fatty on that glide or swim bait. So that's the Biovex, I believe. He's in his pec fin, which is why he felt so heavy. But that's a lure and that's a fish. See you, buddy. Cool. Now, seeing as we're doing this whole early water, top water gig, we'll go to the littler one, the 72. Now I've actually caught brim on this one. Did a bit of a brim challenge where I used a whole heap of micro largemouth bass lures, which you can go see that video. It might be linked somewhere down below. But we're getting out these swim baits and having a good time. There are some fish down in the bottom of that hole. Go figure. But they're not the swim bait fish we want, so I'm not going to target them. It's going to be interesting to see though if this small lure has the same effect as a big lure does. Like, that big lure really does draw them in, whereas this smaller one might not actually have the same power. Oh, definitely not where I wanted that lure. I mean, I don't have to keep using this one, but all that... Oh, sun's not up. The top water option's what I'm kind of going for. Alright, we're giving up on this just for a little bit, because I want to throw this again, in reality. There is no other reason that I'm putting that down other than I actually just want to throw the big one for a bit. It's been a long time since we've got any eats, and I reckon that has to do a bit with the tide. So we're in a bit of a slack tide time period. Yeah. So yeah, there's a little bit of current, but what we're actually waiting for is that current now to swing back and start pushing out. It seems that these fish with the swim baits actually quite like the current. I don't know. I think it gives them a bit more confidence to whack these lures. Not sure, to be honest. Still. I can't actually believe how slow it is, considering how I started. Well, by how I started, that one fish really early. Well, it's about time where we sit down and change some lures, right? So, we caught a fish on this bad boy, being that Biovex Joint Bait 110SF. Enough letters there, but that's caught a fish, right? So, we'll snippy boy that off. And then we're gonna go real left field, right? So we've gone from that, and we're going to go bright. There's tannin stained waters. Let's see if the old bright chartreuse, in fact, is the use. If not, we'll go to baby bass. But yeah, not much difference in the two lures there, but this coffee. Cheers. Going this chartreuse colour really does bring me out, so I'm actually throwing this on a different rod, so I've got to get used to that as well. Right, so I've done, I guess, two changes. One being I've put like this different shaped glide bait on, because, well, you know, I wanted to. Let's try the other one. That swims unreal though, and runs a little bit deeper than this one. Although they are different weights, so it's to be expected, but Oh, yep, there we go. Got him. Bassy boy. Yes. 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 Finally ticked that off. Oh, that is a big chartreuse. Sucker. All right. That lure was responsible for that fish. All right, let's get back on that grind. So, I mean, kind of went through it last video, but to glide bait, it's kind of all about the cadence of the wind, which was one of the things Josh was getting me to do better. It was good. By observing him, I kind of did learn a bit more on it. Particularly, you want to be able to see it at, see your lure for the first few times you do it, because then you can really get the timing right. And if you, what I've found so far, if you catch a fish or get a snag or something and you've had a break-in cast, it's not a bad idea to have a couple of casts where you can see the lure and get the timing right. You know, and the speed at which it glides is going to be different. The direction you're traveling, plus a few other bits and pieces. So you really got to be I guess cognizant of this lure the whole time. So it's not an easy technique. It's one that you got to actually pay attention to. Like even there, I just blew the lure out because I was going too quick. Even swapping between these glide baits, like the cadence is different as well. Like a cast that goes there is different to a cast that goes there, which is different to cast that goes there. Like, it's insane the amount of variables that retrieving one lure can have, you know, in comparison to the old, you know, jerkbait, crankbait, lipless crankbait, where you can kind of just, in reality, you can cast, wind, give it a few twitches, pause, like it doesn't matter too much whether it's next to you or in front of you. Sometimes it matters if it's behind you because of speed, but you know, the only thing you got to change is the speed that you're winding instead of the speed that you're doing this with, which is a lot, well, I find a lot easier because I've done it for 20 years, over 20 years I've thrown lures for. I don't know. Oh my God, you idiot. So, as I said, we're going the natural, the baby bass with a bit of hollow in it. Just always a good colour, baby bass. Josh was running it and did outfish me with it last time, so let's see if it is a colour thing or it's he's just a way better swim baiter than me. Glide baiter. Swim baiter? Yeah, probably both. And you know what, mate? I reckon you are. Josh, if you're watching this, you probably are a better. Well, no, not probably. You definitely are. Considering I'm reteaching myself this stuff. I'm going to say it's not the go, but it seems the natural colours aren't oh, I lied. Natural colours are alright. I was just about to say, it looks like these aren't doing the job, but I think he's just hooked. He was just hooked. There was no flipping him. Oh, there we go. 3 for the day. And another on that swim bait, eh? Bang. I know it's GoPro footage, so it's not as good, but little battler with that glide bait right in the corner of his gob. See you, buddy. Tell you what, It had me nervous for a bit. Thinking I wasn't going to get any more. Alright, 30 more minutes of fishing before we are going home. So it's probably about the time that we go through what I'm doing. So this morning started out pretty simply just rolling and pausing that floating swim bait, and then now we're doing the glide bait thing, so kind of just working out that cadence of winding your handle to get that bait to kick side to side. Too quick and it'll blow out, too slow and it doesn't move, it just goes straight. So you got to get right like kick of the lure. Changing between all these different swim baits and stuff, it is difficult to get the kick all the time, along with current going forwards. Like there's a lot of factors that do make swim baiting probably a more difficult option, or glide baiting. Swim baiting's pretty straightforward, but glide baiting more of a difficult option, but it's fun. It's cool catching Aussie bass on big lures. So it's an 8 to 14 pound rod, 16 pound leader, 15 pound braid. This is the Accent, so it's actually a fast retrieve reel. I'd probably go a 7 instead of an 8.1 or 8 point whatever it is retrieve ratio. Probably just a bit more suited to this style of fishing, but the upside is when I'm punching in and the current's going that way, I can pick up line pretty quickly. It's just when occasionally I do kick the lure a bit too much, so I've got to be really cognizant of that. But apart from that, yeah, that's all we're doing. We got the Deps slide swimmer, the Deps bullshooter, like the little one, and then the Biovex jointed baits, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. So yeah, that's the crux of what we're doing. If you haven't done it already, it is fun. I do recommend doing it. It's not cheap, but definitely gets that heart going. Not as good as buzz baiting, but not much is really. Yeah. Oh, get out of there. He stitched me up good. Oh, please be on still. I don't think he is. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah, he's still on. Mate, you're not even that big. Why'd you do me like this? Oh, oh. did me dirty for a little fish. See you, buddy. All right, last cast. Oh. Damn it. 2 goes at it. Oh. Yeah, there we go. 3 goes at it. Last cast, last fish. How was that? Called it, caught it. Little tucker, but geez, that just shows you the kind of meal they'll have. Look at the size difference there. Look at that. You're not meant to eat that. Well, no wonder why this dude had 3 goes at it. He's tiny. Well, that is the last fish of the session. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm going to film an outro and we'll get going. Well, I hope you guys and girls out there have all enjoyed this episode of The Hunt for Bronze. Yeah, it was a bit tough, not going to lie. Fishing was not what I expected it to be, but I went out and I stuck to something, and that was reteaching myself to swim bait fish for bass, but more refining that glide baiting that Josh helped reteach me last episode. So standouts. Of course, we got the first standout being the Deps slide swimmer. Yeah, Deps slide swimmer, the 115. Come on, there we go. So that bad boy right there, and that accounted for most of the fish at the end there. But then bit of water in it. So yeah, that accounted for most of the fish there at the end. But this morning we managed one on this bad boy, being the Biovex Joint bait. That's the one. If it could just stay in focus, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, that's a Biovex 110 glide. It's an unreal, swim bait. It's a floating lure. It swims really cool across the surface. Actually led to some pretty sick strikes, so pretty stoked with that that lure as it is. So yeah, there's that one. And then lastly, the other slide swimmer being the bright as all hell Fire Tiger slide swimmer. This thing's so cool. It is just bright and leery. I thought while it was dark today, that'd be the lure to go to, and well, turns out I was right. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not. We are now starting to get back into an editing rhythm. I know by the time this comes out, I would have, edited hopefully a whole heap of videos. But thank you for all being so patient as I sorted myself out and got myself back to editing. So thanks for sticking around. Until next time, go out fishing and enjoy yourselves. We're out.